We're about to have the most important March Madness for the NBA in 32 years. Every lottery pick except for one guy will be in this tournament. If you love the NBA but you haven't watched a ton of college hoops, every important prospect will be in this one tournament. The last time we had this many lottery picks in one tournament was 2019. RJ Barrett, Zion Williamson, and Cam Reddish lost by 1 point in the Elite Eight. But the last time more NBA talent was in March Madness was in 1990. So this video is about March Madness for NBA fans. You will know exactly what to watch for in the tournament to prep for the NBA draft. In the description, there's a free PDF for you to download so you don't have to write any of this down. So first, the projected top 3 picks. But first, today's sponsor is MYBOOKIE.AG, and total transparency, MyBookie contacted me and said, do you want to do a March Madness video? And I was like, I don't know. And then I saw how important it is to the NBA draft, and I was like, yes, let's do it. Every NBA fan should be watching March Madness this year, and if you're gonna wager on March Madness, you should do it at MyBookie.ag because they have the national championship game, every single game, player props, but they have a bracket contest, which is always fun, but the prizes are huge. Over $100,000 in cash, a Bitcoin, like literally a Bitcoin, which is worth a ton of money depending on when you're watching this video, and an NFT, a doodle NFT that's worth about $50,000. If you sign up, use promo code AMHOOPS on your deposit, then you get a free entry into that March Madness bracket contest. You could win huge prizes and you help out the channel. So go over to MyBookie.ag, and thanks to them for being a sponsor. In most mock drafts, Jabari Smith of Auburn goes #1 overall. His team got a #2 seed, and you can watch Jabari play Jacksonville State and dominate on Friday. He is a 6'10" forward who is an amazing shooter. Dude's a potential 50-40-90 guy at 6'10". He can score off the dribble or play make for others with solid defense. In my mock draft, which I'll show you in a second, the Magic get Jabari at #1. Next up, Chet Holmgren of Gonzaga. They got the #1 overall seed. They start their potential run to a championship with Georgia State on Thursday. Chet is unlike anyone we've seen in the NBA, and I know that is a huge statement, but he is like the unicorn of unicorns. A 7-footer who is an elite rim protector and defender overall, competitive as hell, good on offense in transition and in the post, and he shoots 41% from 3. Just imagine like an actually good bull. No offense. Chet used to be the projected #1 before the college season started, but people are really afraid of how skinny he is. He looks thinner than Bol, and you're gonna see that during the tournament. The Zags could easily win it all, by the way, so you're gonna see a lot of Chet. In my mock, the Rockets get #2 and they take Chet. Next up is Paolo Banchero of Duke. Duke plays Cal State Fullerton on Friday. This is another guy who was projected to go #1, but he has fallen during the college season. Now, my mock has him going to the Pistons. He's a 6'10" forward, 3-level scorer, explosive, and a good defender, but he's not perfect. He shoots just 29% from 3. His team, Duke, is stacked with talent, which we'll get to later in the teams you have to watch. And beyond the top 3, you have to also watch out for Jaden Ivey of Purdue, who plays Yale on Thursday. In my mock, he goes #4 to the Thunder, but in some mocks, he is top 3. He's a 6'4" guard who's a two-way player, 40% from 3, and a high-level defender. Now, those are the guys who could be in the mix for top 3, but here's a look at every lottery pick and what schools they play for. The only guy who is not in March Madness is Jaden Hardy, who is in the G League. This list is on that PDF that I talked about in the description, but my mock looks like this. At #5, the Pacers get Keegan Murray from Iowa, who could easily win College Player of the Year. That is how good he's been. 6'8" forward, 38% from downtown. At 6 is AJ Griffin from Duke to the Kings. 7, Johnny Davis, forward from Wisconsin to the Spurs. 8 is Shadon Sharp from Kentucky to the Knicks. 9, Jalen Duren. 6'11" center to Portland to replace Yusuf Nurkic. 10, Mr. Benedict from Arizona, who is also a Blazer. Number 11, Tari Eason, a power forward from LSU to the Grizzlies. 12, Ochai Agbaji, a big shooting guard from Kansas to the Wizards. 13, Marjon Beauchamp, who is our G Leaguer, the one guy in the draft lottery not in the tournament, to Charlotte. And 14, Ty Washington, Kentucky guard, to Atlanta. There's 68 teams in the tournament, but these are your must-watch schools for the NBA draft. According to Wallet Hub, there's almost $14 billion in corporate losses every year during March Madness because people are just sitting around watching games. The average worker watches 6 hours of basketball. But let's just say you don't have 6 hours to watch college hoops. So these are the 5 must-watch teams for NBA fans. The schools are Duke, Kentucky, Gonzaga, Auburn, and Purdue. Now, Duke is at the top of the list because they have the most projected first-round picks with 4 on one team. According to NBADraft.net, AJ Griffin goes 4th to OKC, Paolo Banchero 5th to the Pacers, Wendell Moore 18th to the Spurs, Mark Williams 27th to the Heat. That is 4 first-round NBA rookies on one team. Kentucky has 2 firsts and a second-round pick. Ty Washington 8th to the Spurs, Shadon Sharpe 13th to the Hawks, and Oscar Tshiebwe 31st. But Oscar, 31st pick in the draft, he could easily be a first-round pick. That would be 3 firsts on Kentucky. Oscar has been one of the best players in college this year. You also have to watch Gonzaga just to see Chet Holmgren and Julian Strawther, who's projected 23rd to the Bucks. Also Auburn, with both number 1 pick Jabari Smith, and they have the Rockets projected 16th, Walker Kessler. Your last must-watch team was Purdue, just because of number 2 pick Jaden Ivey. But if you've got a little extra time to watch the tournament, this is the list of teams I consider watch if you can for NBA fans. You can see the list right now on your screen. All of these schools either have a lottery pick on them or multiple future NBA draft picks. I list every single guy and what pick he's projected to go to in that PDF. So we know there's going to be a lot of talent in March Madness, and we know that they're going to be drafted by NBA teams, but there is so much about this NBA draft that is different. A lot of teams have traded away their first-round pick, like the Lakers, and so there are several teams with multiple first-round picks. First, here's a look at who has the most first. Obviously, the Thunder, they're going to have the most first for a while. They have 3, but so do the Spurs. When the Spurs traded Derek White, they got the Celtics first-round pick this year. Then they dealt Thaddeus Young, so they have the Raptors top 14 protected. Next is the Rockets, who have both their first and also the Nets first from the James Harden trade. The Blazers also have 2 firsts, their own, plus the Pelicans from the CJ McCollum deal. The teams with the best odds to get number 1 are the Magic, the Rockets, and the Pistons at 14%. But anything can happen. Back in 2008, the Bulls had a 1.7% chance to get number 1, and it happened. Of course, they took hometown guy Derrick Rose, but if that happened this year, the Lakers would pick number 1, but they don't have their own pick. It would go to New Orleans. But LA is not the only team that has traded their first. This is a list of first-round pick trades for the 2022 draft. We already covered some of these, like the Raptors and the Nets, but the Jazz, Suns, Clippers, Sixers, and Cavs could all send their picks to the Thunder, Grizzlies, Pacers, and Nets. It is so rare to have this much talent in March Madness these days, because back in the day, you could draft guys straight out of high school. Of course, we've seen more and more European players be lottery picks over the years. So this is one of those rare times where we get to watch the March Madness tournament and really prep for the NBA draft. One guy who was a beast in college was DeMar DeRozan. He is finally coming into his own in the NBA. Obviously, he's had highlights throughout his career, but this is the best full year he has pulled together so far. And the reason for that, people don't talk about because you can't see it. This is a video about how DeMar has finally started to overcome his depression. Check it out.